I don't know, I like fell in love with it instantly. Like there was no like, oh, I suck at skating or I got hurt or, you know, what can I do to like work one day in the skate industry? Like when I started filming, I had no idea you can make a living off of it. I didn't know you could get anything. Like anything that people have today or that I have, like I had no idea. Like I thought it was just, you did it for the love, and that's why I started. Same reason I started skating, because I loved it and it was fun, not because of anybody else or anything like that. Like I just like, it's what I wanted to do. Brand new.
You wanted me to.
Left.
I mean, this isn't a laughing matter, but sorry.
You told me to do it. I started filming, but I was still skating a ton. Like back then, castle contests were huge and they were like every weekend. So I would go to a castle contest, I would film the whole contest, but then I would have a turn, it would be my turn to be my run, you know? And Corey would enter and he'd always win, but Corey was like our local hero. So like Duffel was like the first guy that was like sponsored in our area that was like our age group, and he rode for Think back then, and that was pretty big for us. But even then, like I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna film pros and I gotta film like, you know, these guys. It was like, I was filming my friends, I was filming whoever skated that was just like down to go skating, I was filming. I ended up going on a skate trip to Reno with my friends, and I thought Reno was like pretty rad, and my wife now was my girlfriend then. She went off to college in Reno, and I went there to visit her, and I was just like, this place is rad, you know, I should move up here, you know, like whatever, I got nothing else going on. Teams would come to town all the time and do demos, and I would always go to the skaters and be like, hey, like I have all these spots, you know, like that's kind of always been my specialty, is like the skate spots. So I'd go to the demos and I'd be like, hey, like I have all these spots, I'll take you guys around, I'll show you here, here, here. And they'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool, you know, like, yeah, maybe later, or like, yeah, we'll meet up, you know, and nobody would ever like go out skating with me. So finally I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go take a photo of all these spots. And then I went to all the spots in Reno, I took a photo of everything. And like Chocolate Team came to town, and Kenny Anderson, I saw him at the skate shop when they were doing the autograph sign. I was like, hey Kenny, like, I have all these spots, I'm gonna show you guys around. And he's like, oh yeah, cool, like, we'll meet up later. And I was like, no, look, and I pull open my laptop, and he was like, oh my gosh. Because back then, like, nobody was doing that. Nobody was like going out and taking photos of spots and like being like, look here, this is Reno, you know? And he was like, see that guy over there, that's Ty, like go show him. I go show Ty, and Ty was just like, what's your number? And he called me that night and we went out skating, and that's like what really triggered it. And I was just like, wow, that's where I'm valuable, and that's where I can actually get people's attention. So I made a spot book on a disc, and I sent it to every skate company in the industry, and it was like, hey, like this isn't to get a job. Like I was like, hey, here's all the Reno spots, right? If you come to Reno, like bring your filmer, bring your team, I'll show you guys around for free. I just want to learn how to film from the filmer, because I loved it. I loved watching these guys skate. And dude, for the next year or two, it was just like people were just coming to Reno nonstop, and I would just show them around. And that's how I met everybody. That's how I met Greg Hunt, that's how I met Ty, that's how I met a bunch of the skaters, like Beeble, you know what I mean? People that helped me get my first job, it was all because of just sending that spot book out, you know? And some of them I didn't hear from for a year, but once they showed up, it was just like, they were stoked, you know?
Free to the wall. Go out and get it.
I called Ty. I was like, hey man, I wanna be a filmer. Like, how can I make this happen, you know? And he's like, if you really wanna be a filmer, then you'd be out in LA this weekend, you'd be meeting people, sleep on people's couches. Like, that's how you're gonna make it, you know? At the time, like, I was filming Brandon Beeble a lot. He would come to Reno. I was telling him, I was like, hey man, I'm moving to LA. I'm gonna try to become a filmer. Like, this is my goal. And he's like, dude, no, move to Sacramento. It's only 2 hours away. You could be my filmer. Lakai will hire you. They said I can hire a filmer. So then I talked to those guys and they were like, absolutely. You know, I moved to Sacramento. Second day I was there, I got a paycheck. So I started working for Lakai. I got to work on like Fully Flared for about a year and a half. Would just come up to my house and, you know, like Eric, Guy, Lenosi, just constantly rotate, you know? I would just be filming those guys all the time, and that was incredible. I wasn't making like enough money. When I worked for Lakai, I was still working part-time in a warehouse. So I was going to warehouse from 6 a.m. until noon. And then at noon, I would go straight to filming because it was just like a constant deadline for that video. That was really gnarly. So then that ended and I was like, all right, you know, I'm gonna work for Chocolate. And then I have this idea. I'll hit up Transworld and I'll tell them like, hey, I'll film for you guys part-time, film for Chocolate part-time. That will make it so I have enough money and I don't have to work for anybody else. So I hit up Jason Hernandez. And I was like, hey man, like I have this idea to run by you. I can be like the NorCal filmer. Anything non-Chocolate, I'll give to you guys. And he's like, oh dude, like I just told him I quit. I'm not gonna be there, you know? Like I only have another couple months left. And I was bummed. I was like, dude, no way. Like that was my only way in. He was the only guy I knew at Transworld. Who's the new filmer? Like who are they gonna hire, you know? And he's like, oh, I told him to hire you. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, this is insane. And then Stefan walks by and he goes, oh yeah, I was just skating with Kyle Leeper and I asked him who the new Transworld filmer was and he said Chris Ray. And I knew Leeper was good friends with John Holland. So I was like, all within like 5 minutes, I had found out that Jason quit, that my plan was messed up, but then he had recommended me and that apparently I was already the new Transworld filmer. Like, I didn't know any of this had like even happened. Right Foot Forward, Hallelujah, and Not Another Transworld video is the 4 videos I worked on for them, and that was awesome because I got to pick who I worked with, got to meet everybody in the industry, so it was good. It was like a good experience. Like a lot of 4 videos in 4 years is a big learning experience. A lot of people make like, you know, 1 video in 4 years nowadays, so that was huge for me. That was like where I really learned how to film, where I really learned how to edit. And like I don't think a good filmer is necessarily somebody that can like just go out and film a good trick. I think there's a complete package there, and that's like, you know, can you get the guys motivated to skate? Can you get them in the car? Do you have a plan of where they're gonna go? Do you have the next plan of when you get kicked out or somebody gets a trick? You know, like how can you keep this going? Can you plan a trip? Can you get along with everybody? You know, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into everything. And can you film it good? Can you edit? Transworld, like that's where it really helped me form into everything. You know, I'd go on a trip and I was like kind of like the team manager, the filmer. You know what I mean? Like I was booking all the trips, doing everything, and then I'd go and edit the video. So we were doing the box art. We were doing all that stuff. You know, so it was good. That was a good experience. A bunch of my friends, like I'm friends with Mikey Taylor and Matt Miller and Wes, and they're all DC dudes. And remember, like Kalis hit me up, you know, like everybody was kind of like, hey, like we want you to come work for DC. I thought it'd be rad. Like it was definitely, it's just like, you know, I've worked with a lot of people, and like these are my friends. These are the guys that I want to film. The people that work for the company I was psyched on. Like I wanted to travel with those guys, and that's like, I wanted like, all right, this is what we're doing and this is the direction we're going. And I knew that they were rebuilding everything and that everything was going to be a lot better. And I knew the new riders they were going to get. And it seemed like really cool to be a part of something that was exciting, that was going to make, I guess, like movement, you know? They were going to like, all right, let's like keep stepping it up. And that's what I wanted. And it's rad because the team like loves skating so much and they love going out. It doesn't seem to be an issue to get everybody motivated and to get content. So basically just keep feeding the world, you know, keep feeding the world with footage and kids with videos, and hopefully we can find a way to like set a platform of this web video situation, you know, figure out how to just put really good stuff out. Or that's my goal. My goal is to just put really good stuff out that people see and they're like, oh, DC video, I want to watch that. I'm gonna click on that because it's worth my time. From a bad day in my brain, for the sake of the strip that I could be cruising, and the comfort of the sports car illusion. I think about them all the time. I think about them all the time. Think about. That's my ultimate goal, is to make everything just fucking rad, you know? Like that's my goal.